We open this list with the king of 4X games, Civilization 7. The 7th mainline Civ game will introduce changes to its core mechanics for better or for worse. You'll no longer be tied to your starting Civ, and you can change it between age transitions. There are no more workers, the tech tree has been streamlined, and the graphics are less cartoony than Civ 6's, releasing on February 11th. After an unfortunate delay, Assassin's Creed Shadows is aiming for release early next year. The shinobi Naoe and the first Black Samurai Yasuke are the series' new protagonists. Shadows features a dual-character story where you can switch between two protagonists on the fly. Yasuke is good in melee combat while Naoe prefers stealth. Whether you want to go loud or silent in saving Japan from its oppressors, the choice is yours. Branded as the next Skyrim, this is Obsidian's next big RPG following the successes of New Vegas and Outer Worlds. Avowed is all about that power fantasy of becoming the strongest mother in the land. It's in first person, which makes for an immersive experience as you slay foes with dual wands, dual guns, and everything in between. And like the rest of Obsidian games, your choices matter. Every decision opens up new possibilities and branching paths. Releasing on February 18. From street criminals to super spies, the next Yakuza game will take us to the high seas. Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is all about Goro Majima, who somehow ends up shipwrecked in the Pacific and forgets his identity. It's no Black Flag, but it's an action-packed romp across treacherous waters. The combat is in real time, and you can switch between Majima's Sea Dog and Mad Dog styles. Expect some seriously flashy moves in its energetic combat. Set to release on the 20th of February. The Alters is a sci-fi game about surviving a desolate planet by creating many versions of you. Each Alter's personality will have varying life paths. You create different versions of your character and try to build a colony that can withstand the planet's many dangers. Sounds wild, right? But I could see it working. It's like Fallout Shelter, but you're constantly under threat by the sun. You'll have to manage resources, keep an eye on the planet's cycle, and manage relationships with your other selves. Definitely unique, and it's set to launch sometime next year.
Gentlemen, praise be to our Lord Jesus Christ.
If there's a game that could transport us to a gorgeous medieval world, it's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The trailer alone makes me excited for more medieval shenanigans. Henry's back and he's out for revenge, and this time we're exploring the lush open world of medieval Europe. But remember, this wasn't exactly a fun time, with all of the era's diseases and conflicts. With its authentic first-person combat, you can roleplay as a lone warrior on foot or on horseback. Grab your sword and shield, and get ready for some blood. Releasing on February 12th.
You can try to run, but me? I run this place.
Riot's ambitious fighting game could potentially be released next year, according to the roadmap. 2XKO is a fighting game that aims to be easy to pick up but difficult to master. It'll support different modes for competitive play, including 1v1, 2v2, and even 1v2. You can have a friend tag along and enjoy duking it out with another pair of fighters. Plus, the roster features iconic League of Legends characters, which is sure to draw in fans of the MOBA game. It's scheduled to release sometime next year. What if Paul Atreides wasn't the Lisan al-Gaib? That's the idea behind Dune Awakening, an MMO where you fight for the glory of Arrakis with the spice as your most sacred resource. Combining third-person combat and base building, it's a playground for domination across the sandworm-infested desert. You can even team up with other players and see who can rise to power. It's set to launch early next year. The highly anticipated sequel to Monster Hunter World is finally coming next year. Monster Hunter Wilds is set to be the next big game for Capcom, considering that it now has crossplay for everyone to enjoy. An open beta was recently released and gave us a taste of its early hunts. More and more players are excited to return to their favorite weapons, armed with a new focus mode ability. And with a February release date, we're all eager to see what new and returning monsters will be part of our regular hunting sessions. Remember Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds? That awesome 2013 beat-em-up from the studio behind Steins Gate? Well, get ready for the definitive edition. They've rebuilt it from scratch in Unreal Engine 5, so it's looking better than ever. Team up with friends and pick from a roster of powerful characters from the Phantom Breaker universe. It is not just a visual upgrade, they've remastered the soundtrack too, with brand new songs by the J-rock band the Phantom Breakers. China's selection of action games continues to expand, and WUCHANG Fallen Feathers is the most notable example. The Souls-like RPG takes us to the mystical land of Shu. It's set during the Ming Dynasty, but you'll be facing off against enemies from Chinese myths and legends. Its linear design harkens back to the good old days of Dark Souls. Narrow pathways and epic bosses await every turn. You'll have an assortment of weapons to help you conquer this twisted land teeming with abominations. It's scheduled to launch sometime in 2025. Nuclear Punk is making a comeback with Atomfall. After a nuclear disaster wipes out parts of northern England, it's up to you to scavenge and survive the irradiated countryside. It's not quite like Fallout, focusing more on action and survival. You'll be fighting robots, cult members, mutated creatures, and more. It's developed by the same people behind Sniper Elite and the Zombie Army franchise, so if you're a fan of those games, you might enjoy Atomfall. It releases on March 2025. The next Atelier game has found its new maiden. The Alchemist memories and the Envisioned land memories are essential. As cheesy as it sounds, Yumia and her companions must confront their past to make way for their future. Atelier Yumia will be the biggest Atelier game yet, as it fully embraces the open-world design. It wasn't as fleshed out in previous titles. The game promises more exploration and synthesizing when it launches on March 21st. Despite this year's failures and a very competitive market, we're still getting more hero shooters. FragPunk is a new contender. It got a lot of attention when big creators like Shroud streamed it. What sets FragPunk apart is the use of tactical cards. It doesn't matter if your aim is perfect, what matters is how well you play the cards you're dealt with. There are over 100 unique cards that can completely change the tide of battle, making every 5v5 match unique. It's not exactly reinventing the hero shooter wheel, but it looks like a lot of fun, and it may be released in 2025. Here's another contender in the competitive shooter market. Splitgate 2 doubles down on its portal-based shootouts, promising more depth and strategy compared to the first game. The sequel doesn't really reinvent core mechanics, but it builds upon the successes of the original and refines the arena shooter experience. The new faction-based classes add another layer of control to player choices. From the trailers and previews, this is looking like it's gonna be a solid upgrade. Splitgate 2 is coming sometime in 2025. After that disastrous live-action movie, with Borderlands 4, Gearbox is back to doing what they do best, making games. Unfortunately, details about this game are pretty scarce, but we do have a few hints. In a tweet, Randy Pitchford, the head of Gearbox, mentioned something about seamless loading mechanics. It's not much to go on, but it suggests that they might be going for a more open-world approach this time. Could this be the first truly open-world Borderlands game? We'll have to wait and see. It's expected to launch in 2025. Eternal Strands takes a page from some absolute classics. Do you want to face towering boss fights a la Shadow the Colossus? Wield spells and manipulate the laws of physics like in the new Legend of Zelda games? Or choose an arsenal of weapons like Monster Hunter? In Eternal Strands, you'll get all of that rolled into one ambitious action adventure. I can't wait to play this game. It's coming out early next year.
They live inside our heads.
This one is different. Hell Is Us blends Lovecraftian sci-fi with a European Civil War backdrop. Just from the trailers, you can tell it has this unique, almost unsettling vibe. It's much like Kojima's Death Stranding, but with fewer cutscenes and more gameplay. The combat is Souls-like, so don't expect any hand-holding. You will be left alone in the dark, and it will be up to you to figure things out. No maps, no quest markers. That's not exactly a horror game, but it could be for some. It launches in 2025. Speaking of games that aren't meant to be horror, but it could be, Subnautica's sequel is finally coming. We don't know much about it yet, but they've confirmed that it'll have 3-player seamless co-op, and that's gonna be awesome. The reveal trailer did give us a little dip into its new alien ocean world, and it's both beautiful and terrifying. The new biomes look hauntingly beautiful. It's expected to release in 2025. This furry Souls-like is getting a major sequel next year. Tales of Iron 2 takes us to a new kingdom ravaged by war and shrouded in snow. But don't worry, there's enough weapons to help us on this quest. Bows, spears, maces, you name it. You'll need every advantage you can get against every grotesque monster that stands in your way. The first Tales of Iron was a good Souls-like game. This might come out better. Whiskers of Winter will launch in February 2025. Here's another game by Chinese developers. Following the path paved by the success and momentum of Black Myth Wukong, Phantom Blade Zero is China's next big action adventure. Its dark fantasy world is home to many horrors straight out of nightmares. Fortunately, hacking and slashing solves most of its problems. The combat is super fast-paced. It features a 2-button combo system that lets players unleash powerful attacks and a block button that'll drain stamina. Fans of From Software's Sekiro will find similarities in its combat. There's no confirmed release date yet, but I'm hoping for a late 2025 launch. The next entry to the 2 Point series takes us into a place where art and history collide. 2 Point Museum lets you create your own quirky museum filled with artworks and historical artifacts, your personal repository of knowledge and culture. Design your dream exhibits and arrange guided tours. If you've played other 2 Point games, you know it's all about enjoying what you built, however ridiculous they might be. It's set to release on March 4. Anno's upcoming installment takes us back to the Roman Empire in 117 AD. Pax Romana puts you into the shoes of a governor, making decisions that could shape the future of the empire. Will you be a reformer who challenges the status quo, or will you uphold tradition? The choice is yours. Pax Romana gives you the freedom to lead your slice of the Roman Empire however you want. It's scheduled to launch sometime in 2025. We're close to the end of our list, but we can't and will never forget about Doom Guy. Id Software takes us back to the Dark Ages in this one. I love the short description on Steam. You are the super weapon in a medieval war against hell. It's in all caps, so I have to shout. Doom the Dark Ages introduces new weapons to the kit. We have dragons you can ride on, guns that shoot skulls, and a shield that can rip and tear like a chainsaw. It might be hell for others, but for Doomslayer, it's just another Tuesday. It's releasing in 2025. We end this list with the first Berserker, Khazan. This is a hardcore action RPG with some serious Souls-like elements. It's designed to be a challenging experience even for veteran Souls-like players. It takes place in the DNF universe, centering around General Khazan's journey of revenge and the origin of the curse in Arad. But instead of fighting other players, you'll be battling your way through a gauntlet of tough bosses. It's scheduled to launch in 2025.
Our alliance has been formed.